Are Manchester United potential title contenders for this season? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today is the turn of Manchester United to be put a little bit under the microscope in a mini-series of these that I've been doing across the past week or so in regards to selecting certain teams and talking about last season, their pre-season preparations, and their expectations, demands, and potential that this forthcoming season has to offer. I've already talked about Arsenal, I've already talked about Aston Villa, Liverpool were a few days ago, yesterday was the turn of Manchester City. Well, today is the turn of Manchester United. Erik ten Hag's Manchester United, who of course have got Champions League football to look forward to again this season after finishing third in their last campaign. We're going to be talking about United. We're going to be talking about the season that was last campaign. We're going to be talking about their pre-season preparations and, of course, what the future may hold for them in this forthcoming campaign, which is just under a week away from restarting and kicking off yet again. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always very greatly appreciated. And, of course, for you lot to get involved in that comment section, do talk to me in regards to Manchester United. I'm sure you have a lot of interesting thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That'll make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. So do get involved down there. I do want to hear from you all. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Manchester United. Look, last season, no one was expecting United to achieve and do what they did last season. No one was giving them a hope of finishing in the top four. That's exactly what they did. No one was expecting them to win or to get through to any final whatsoever. They got to 2 domestic finals. No one was expecting them to win any silverware. They won a League Cup. Erik ten Hag performed brilliantly last season, and he helped Manchester United finish a season which no one was giving them any chance or any hope of doing. And it raised the question of, if he can get backed properly, how far could he take this team? Now, of course, it's only his first season, and many people will claim that, you know, United took advantage of Liverpool and Chelsea being underperforming that season. And to a certain extent, I'm not going to say it's a completely weak argument. I'm not going to say it's a completely strong argument either. I think there is an element of truth to it, but I don't think it's as much as what many people are saying it is. You know, because at the end of the day, United still had to win all of their games. They still had to do and play their part in obviously themselves finishing in a higher position than what they did. And they did that. And they did that very well to a certain extent. Yes, they got a bit lucky here and there. You know, there was some poor performances which some individuals in that Manchester United team managed to help them drag through. There were some moments where they weren't exactly playing well, but they managed to obviously overcome a difficult challenge. So to a certain extent, yeah, you can argue that, but overall, Manchester United deserved it. Manchester United played very well for the most part, or they managed to get through difficult tasks in a very well fashion and very well run manner. Erik ten Hag and Manchester United deserve huge credit for that. They finished third. They got a top 4. They got Champions League football back for this season. They won a League Cup. They got to the final of the FA Cup. I guess if you had to point out one disappointment, it probably would be the Europa League, where they were probably expected to go on and win it after obviously Arsenal got knocked out. But then, you know, Europa League heritage, I guess Sevilla managed to knock them out. It was a pretty crazy couple of legs in which it was slightly fortuitous on Sevilla's part to a certain extent, but overall Sevilla probably did deserve to go through across both nights, hence why they did. So last season was just a season where they defied expectation. Like I say, it wasn't entirely convincing. Because I think some of their performances were pretty poor. Some of their performances were enhanced by brilliant individuals. Marcus Rashford went on an unbelievable run from somewhere after the World Cup to maybe before March, in which he was coming up clutch for Manchester United time and time again. But you could see that there was a change. You could see that Erik ten Hag was enhancing and evolving players that previously had seemingly no future at Manchester United at all. He was making players that United fans had seemingly given up hope on. He was making them better. Marcus Rashford being a prime example. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, them types of players that seemingly many United fans have given up hope on and given up with. He made them better last season, and he made them feel like a big and vital part of that team. And like I say, it begged the question. If he can be backed properly, imagine what he can do with players that he actually wants at that club and actually can work with at that club. And when you look at the pre-season preparations, he's starting to bring in those types of players that, from the outside looking in, of course, it looks like he wants. Starting off with Mason Mount. Now, I've said time and time again about Mason Mount in this transfer window. I don't think he's worth the money that United paid for him. Many United fans will claim, oh, look at the brilliant negotiations that they did. They managed to get Chelsea's asking price down by 20 million or whatever. Not enough. I think the only reason why I think he went to Manchester United is because they were willing enough to actually pay the price and pay the money. Now, whether that's going to be worth it or not, only time will tell. I just don't think he was worth the 60-odd million. He still could be a good player, and I still think it's a very good signing for United. I think that what he brings to the team and his energy, his work rate, his legs, his bit of jack of all trades, master of none sort of deal that Mason Mount sort of got right now in terms of being an all-round midfielder, is going to benefit. It's going to be versatile enough, and he's going to be adaptable and flexible for Erik ten Hag in his system, and I think he'll be a key player for them. You know, I've always said you don't need to have a team full of superstars in order to win games, in order to win trophies. You need these types of players that are going to be workhorses, that are going to be that are going to be obviously players that are going to be useful, that are going to be utility type of players. They don't need to be all world-class world beaters. They just need to function as a team and help the team gel and maybe enhance other players that are around them, as well as chipping in themselves with the odd goal or two here and there, the odd goal line clearance, the odd big moment here and there. Mason Mount could certainly do that. And like I say, I think he's going to be a big part of this Erik ten Hag side this season. You look at Andre Onana coming in. Onana, quality goalkeeper. Absolutely quality goalkeeper. Many people were crying out for a goalkeeper at Manchester United that was good with the ball at his feet. He definitely is that. His passing, his beating of the press, his splitting of the lines and everything, transitioning defence into attack is going to be a useful asset for Manchester United this season, and definitely something that going forward is going to transition Manchester United and change Manchester United for the better. It's obviously a way that Ten Hag wants to play. He's going to be a key component of the way that they want to play. Yes, there are going to be some nervy moments. Yes, there are going to be some risks that are going to be taken by this goalkeeper. We saw it the other day when he got beaten at the halfway line. There are going to be some moments where he's going to be caught out. There are going to be some nervy moments. But with that danger and that risk, if it means that if they're going to play the football that they want to play, it might be a risk that's worth taking. And maybe once he gets used to the defenders that he's got in front of him, when he gets used to his teammates and he can order them around and lead from the back, he will only get better, as will the United defence. Both of those components will get better in this Manchester United machine. You look at Rasmus Højlund. People are saying he's overrated. People are saying that he's a diamond in the rough that will only get better with age and experience. I'm in that secondary camp. I think this guy will get better with age and experience. I think for right now, He's not exactly the perfect fit for Manchester United as far as a striker for the here and now goes. I think he'll chip in with a few goals this season. I think he'll miss a few as well. I think he might have a bit of an up and down kind of season. But in about a year or two's time, I certainly believe that this guy will be a top striker in the Premier League. Maybe not kind of reaching Harry Kane and Erling Haaland level. Maybe just like a bit of a level or two just off of them. But I think in a year or two's time, I think the potential is there for all to see right now. And when he gets to that point in a couple of years' time, he will be a top striker for Manchester United, I believe. I think this is a very good signing. Again, maybe the price tag is a bit too much, but let's face it, with a 20-year-old striker, you're not only buying what he has for the here and now, you're not only buying his current raw talent, but you're also buying for the future. You're also buying the potential he has, as well as the potential of a sale, of a future sale, and all of that good stuff as well, as far as business is concerned. If it is true and you add Sofyan Amrabat to that, that is another addition to the midfield. That is a brilliant addition in my opinion. A brilliant addition in terms of his energy, his work off the ball, as well as his work on the ball. It's another worthy addition. It's another beefing up of that midfield area. And, you know, maybe a defender could be in next. Maybe another striker just to sort of maybe help Højlund through through what could be a difficult season. You know, it's starting to take shape. And it's been kind of weird from Manchester United. We're normally used to a Manchester United transfer summer of absolute chaos and madness and being linked with everybody and getting players that are either not being linked that much with, not being linked at all with, or the most underwhelming types of players. It's been a very different type of transfer season for Manchester United this summer. And that's a good thing for United fans. Obviously, as a rival fan, I don't personally like it. But it is a change for Manchester United that they're going through right now. And full credit again to Erik ten Hag and to everybody that's changed it. They've not let the transfer takeover of Manchester United loom over them and overshadow their progress. They've gone out and simply done it. It makes me question whether or not the takeover is legitimate, because it is a bit strange that things would just carry on as normal, especially when we're being told the Glazers are money tight and the Glazers are this and the Glazers are that. But yeah, they're going out and they're actually spending money, and they're not only just spending money, but they're spending money in the correct areas. Like, they're not going after just big name players or the shiniest name players or the fanciest name or the marquee signing name players. They're actually going after smart players that fit in the positions, that fit in the roles, that fit in everything that there is to do with the weaknesses of Manchester United right now. So it's been a very different transfer window, but very different for all the right reasons as far as what Manchester United are concerned. Yes, there are a few question marks, but overall, it's still a solid enough season, transfer season for Manchester United that leads open to a lot of optimism, a lot of excitement, and a lot of potential as to where this season can go. In my opinion, the bare minimum is for them to retain what they did last season. A domestic cup should be on the cards. They have definitely the squad and the potential to obviously obtain that. But most of all, it will be about maintaining their Champions League stance. It will be about maintaining their Champions League football. And I think with this whole legacy positioning and this point system that UEFA are introducing next season, I think they obviously have a bit of leeway in terms of they can possibly finish 5th and still manage to get Champions League football for the following campaign. So I think they have a bit more leeway this season to obviously, just in case things don't exactly work out, they can obviously obtain that. Domestic Cup, like I say, could be on the cards. Whether this time it's the FA Cup, whether it's the retaining of the League Cup. Dare I say potentially both? Hope not. Again, I hope it's neither. But it's certainly a potential if they manage to get to both finals and win one of them this season. Champions League, they're looking for a solid run in that. They'll be looking for a solid run in terms of the Champions League. Whether that, I think maybe the quarter-final stages, maybe at least, is something that they're looking forward to achieving. Whether that happens or not, you know, it can somewhat depend on the run that they get. But again, they may have the squad to obviously at least make it that far. After that, they can look to build on next season. The whole question that I started with was, though, are they title contenders? Are they title contenders? Given what happened last season, given how they've built in pre-season, and there's still talk about them adding to their squad, are they pre-season? Are they title contenders? I still think they lack a little bit of firepower up front. I think if they add Amrabat, I think that's a great signing. But I still think they lack firepower up front. And I think a few key injuries, depending on who they are too, if that is to happen, which as we know, across the season, it is likely, it could derail their season a little bit. Not completely, but just a little bit, to the point where it might just take them down a level from that title contender. I still think they are a few players away. If they do add Amrabat, that's one, but I still think they may after that be a couple of players short of maybe being title contenders. And that's where, you know, if I am to be neutral and I am to be honest, I do sort of worry about maybe people giving them that sort of tagline this season as being title contenders, being with Arsenal. But I think I think they'll still manage to get top four. I think they'll still get top four at the very least. A domestic trophy isn't completely out of the realms of possibility. It definitely is a very good chance for them to obtain or to retain if it is the League Cup. And Ten Hag can continue to build. And I know that people will say that they spent a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money in the past year or so since Ten Hag's been there. But it needed to be done. It definitely needed to be done at that with that Man United squad. And there's still a lot of dead wood to clear out. There's still a lot more work to be done. But slowly but surely, it seems like Ten Hag is slowly working his way through it. And like I said, I think it's going to be another season of building. I think it's going to be another season of challenging. They need to sort out their away form, so particularly against the top 6 teams. I think that could be another step this season. And then maybe the season after, that's when you can start seriously considering United as title contenders. Not saying it's not at the moment a possibility. I'm just saying that I would personally give it another season and then start to maybe talk about it in a more serious light. But we'll obviously have to wait and see on that one. But the bare minimum for me, as far as I'm concerned, from the outside looking in, is basically retaining what they managed to obtain last season. But those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Manchester United going forward for this season? What are your expectations, demands, or thoughts on their potential in regards to the forthcoming campaign of Erik Ten Hag's side? I'd love to know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in that comment section, because I'm sure it'll make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and probably greatly appreciated. Thank you all for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever the hell it will be. Cheers, guys.